Hi everyone, welcome to depression-youarenotalone.com. Today it's just going to be John, who's here.
I'm not here.
And my name is Lou. Shannon couldn't be with us today. She's a bit under the weather. And we are inside again. As we always say, we prefer to be outside. But again, it is very hot and we could get rain at any time. So,
And don't forget the humidity.
yeah, it's just too uncomfortable outside for us right now where we are. So we're inside again, unfortunately, but that is what it is. We can't control the weather. Today, I wanted to talk about something that, how should I start this?
At the beginning, that would be nice.
Yeah, but I'm trying, sometimes you know your thoughts, but it's hard to put them in words sometimes that make sense to people. Sometimes when you're battling depression, especially long-term clinical depression, it could be even short-term situational, but when you feel alone, sometimes that feeling it's not real. There are people there for you if you would allow them, but depression wants to pull you away from everyone, isolate you, and sometimes that is the case sometimes. And you think you're alone, you feel alone, but you really wouldn't be if you allowed yourself to open up to other people. And sometimes it's real. You kind of are, because you don't have people that are empaths, people that have the patience to listen. When they had a problem, they can come to you and talk about their problem, but when you have a problem, they don't have the patience to listen. Wouldn't you agree that happens with a lot of people, right?
Or the patience or the will to listen.
Right, and sometimes it's not that person's fault. It's not that that person that you want to talk to doesn't care. It's just not who they are.
Yeah,
It's not blaming anybody. I mean, we have to know our friends and family who they are, because let's face it, there are times when you have an issue. It could be your parents. You go to one parent, not the other. Not that you don't care about the other parent, but in this case, my mom or my dad is better for me to talk to.
yeah, like, could I borrow the car?
Yeah, or give me money.
Yeah, or give me money.
But there's another issue, too, that has made things, I believe, harder for people. And I analyze everything. It's not that I chose to or I choose to a strategy. It's just, I just do. It's just something I do, even unintentionally. And also situations that I've been in, and I want to talk about texting versus speaking to someone.
Oh, forget about speaking. That's passé.
But we're in a world where it's not just young people. It's not just young people that want to text. Yes, young people, most of them love just to text. It's a lot of people, even older people and their, parents and whatever, would prefer to text. The thing is this, if you're struggling, you're sad, again, it doesn't even have to be clinical depression. It could be situational depression. Something happened to you. You're hurting. You want to vent to someone. You make a phone call or two to people, that person or those people that you feel more comfortable talking to. And they don't answer the phone. And then they text you, hey, how's everything going? And they do it for you to text them back. Because they could return your call, right?
But in theory.
In theory, missed call from so-and-so, you can return the call. But they text you back because they're basically telling you, I would rather we communicate through text. Is that, if someone's hurting, someone needs to vent, is texting the way to go? Is that personal?
Well, texting is a sign of how antisocial this place is getting. This is how society is getting.
This world, it's not just...
how society is getting.
When we've discussed this before about just people in general communicating with one another. But I'm talking about specifically when someone needs to talk to someone. They need someone right now. That's someone they care about. That's someone they trust. They want to speak to them. They want to hear their voice. A conversation sometimes can break someone down. The conversation can grow. Person get into details of how they're feeling. The other person can hopefully have comforting words, supportive words in a conversation, people speaking to one another. I don't care how much someone loves to text, you do, it is not the same thing texting someone as it is speaking to someone, especially in a moment of crisis. Because when you know someone, you can tell from their tone how they're speaking. Listen, it could even be a person that's an addict, right?
Yeah.
Mom calls a son who she knows has been battling addiction. She can tell if her son is using.
Oh,
right?
yeah. They can always
Not
tell.
using.
Yeah.
In a text, you
can't
can
tell.
play off a lot in a text. You can play off a lot of things in a text.
No, you can play off everything in the text. 'Cause
But
you just,
speaking to someone where they know how you normally speak, they can talk to you. It can start off with, hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Haven't talked to you in a while. And hear the other person's voice and immediately say, hey, are you all right? Just from the way they're talking. Are you okay? Is everything all right? Just by their tone. Are they talking super slow? Are they talking low? Are they pausing a lot? You don't get that through a text. And I believe it's very sad, because what if someone's in a real crisis right now? Serious. And they make this call, they make that call, they make that call. No one's answering the phone. No one's talking to me. And then they feel alone. Well,
look at the possibilities, all negative that can happen.
and doesn't that sometimes justify the feeling of feeling alone when no one will talk to you? They won't answer your call because they prefer to text. Now, John and I, we've lost our parents, so we can't hear our parents' voices anymore, only in our memories. Their voices have been silenced. My kids, I have adult daughters, they prefer to text. I prefer to hear their voices. How are you? How's everything going? Speak to them. They prefer to text. Now, I know people say, well, it's generational difference. Okay. Does it mean it's better?
No, of course not.
Just because it's a different generation doesn't mean it's better. There are kids that text their parents happy birthday.
Yeah, there are parents that text their kids, come
And
to
text
dinner.
them as well. There are parents that their kids do that because the parents taught them that.
Yeah.
It's like an addiction.
Oh, it
Those
is.
of you that know addiction, right? For some people, texting is an addiction. I've had people text me, and to me, I'm like, okay, I'm done. You know?
Yeah, cell phone.
Oh my God, I'm done. I can't go on and on and on texting for an hour or two with this person. And I'm thinking, we could have knocked this out in a conversation in 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So texting sometimes isn't saving time. Right?
No,
You
it's not.
text a few things, then you're waiting for that person's response. And then you respond to their text, and
Well,
can't we talk to each other
it all
anymore?
goes back to cell phones. The way they are now, they have become an addiction. And that affects all kinds of things.
For a lot of people, but it's
For a
not
lot of people,
everyone. You know, I think parents should tell their kids, I've told mine, hey, I want to hear your voice. I don't want to text you back and forth. I want to hear your voice. I don't want to text you, how are you? And then they text, I'm okay, how are you? And then I text back, fine, what's going on with you? And then get a text back, nothing, same old stuff, how about you? How about a conversation? As human beings.
Conversations are done.
No, and that's day to day, right? with no crisis or anything going on.
Yeah.
But the point I'm trying to make is, what if there is a crisis? What if someone is just so desperate? They're just struggling so bad. They're so desperate. They need to hear that person's voice. Or even if they just want to hear that friendly voice, just so they don't feel so alone. And they can't get someone to answer the damn phone.
Yeah.
What can that lead to? Someone might say, well, you're taking it to an extreme. Extremes exist. It's one thing to say you're taking it to an extreme because those things never happen. No, they do. Where someone is alone, they can't get a hold of anyone, or it doesn't mean anyone, or that one person they really need. And they make a bad decision that, you know what that could be. It's like an addict, right?
Yeah.
You have a sponsor. Right now, you're struggling. What are you supposed to do?
Call your sponsor.
You call your sponsor.
Exactly.
What if your sponsor, no one doesn't answer?
You could be
Of course,
screwed.
it's still up to you to fight, right? But that's a support mechanism you have. You hope that person answers.
Yeah, you hope that he's there for you, or she.
If you're struggling with a mental illness, you're struggling with depression, you hope you can call that friend or family or that loved one, that they'll speak to you and tell you, hey, I'm here for you. How you feeling? What could be in a text, just, hey, what's going on? Or, someone reaching out to see if someone responds. But if it starts with a conversation and that person starts to vent, starts to explain what they're going through, what they're feeling, that they're hurting, they can break down, start crying because they've had the opportunity to vent. You're not doing that in the text.
Oh, hell no.
You're not. And I think a lot of people agree with us. Like our mom, there were times that I was struggling. I'd call my mom and I would try to play it straight with her.
No, she knew what was going on.
But you know what I mean? I was going through bad depression, but I wanted to talk to her just like nothing was going on. I didn't want her to be worried or anything. Oh, she knew right away. She knew. She would say, "You're not feeling good, are you?" Or something along those lines. From listening to me. She was my mom, so she knew my tone, how I'm not being myself, right?
Yeah, she can sense stuff.
And most people, when you know someone really well, not just our mom, but you just know when you're talking to someone.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I would talk to a friend and say, hey man, you all right? Why, what do you mean? It just sounds like you're a bit off. And guess what would happen? Oh man, you know what? Yeah, this happened or that happened. Boom, it comes out. Comes out.
Yeah.
Because I know that person. I know this is not normally how you speak to me in a normal conversation. You're different. And just by asking, are you okay? Is everything all right? Well, you know what I typically get is a pause.
Yeah.
A pause, and then I start hearing there is something wrong there. Not because I'm brilliant, it's just when you know someone very, very well, you pick up on those things. And text? Nope, not happening. I just always think of someone being desperate. I know the feeling of being desperate with depression. Now, I was able to call our mom, and she'd answer the phone. She never texted a day in her life.
And she had a cell phone.
She would answer the phone. So I knew I could speak to her. And if by chance she didn't answer the phone, but she saw it was a missed call, whatever, she'd call me back. I'm saying this too because I've experienced this. I've called my adult daughters and get a text back. Not a call. Because I value hearing the person's voice and having a conversation, and maybe, even if there's nothing wrong, even laughing together, joking around, that interaction, right? That interaction of, it could be a fun conversation over the phone. as opposed to texting back and forth. Man, we're losing this. We've already lost it with so many people. They're just not doing it. It's already...
And the number's climbing.
It's already who they are, what they're used to. It's become easier, and this is the other problem, I think, when people are struggling and they feel alone. If that one or... Listen, you can know a lot of people. You have a lot of friends, you call friends, you can have a big family, but it still always boils down to this. If you're in a crisis situation, you're not going to have a conference call with your entire family. You know who it is you need to speak to. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of people have nobody they can speak to.
Okay, well, we're not trying to be negative.
No, I know, but still.
What I'm saying is it doesn't matter how big your family is, it doesn't matter how many friends you have. You can say, oh, I have so many friends, but if you're in a crisis situation, you're hurting or whatever, you're not going to call all of your friends. There's going to be that one or two that you'll open up to. That one or two that you feel you can count on to listen and care. Same thing with family. Like I said earlier, there are certain, you could be going through something. I'm going to mom because mom is the right person for what I'm going through, not dad. Or I'm going to dad, not mom.
Yeah.
Or I can go to both. Everybody's situation, of course, is different. But when you can go through a list and call your first choice, your second choice, your third choice, and no one's answering the phone, they'll text you back. Or text you, watching a movie right now, talk to you later, or what.
Yeah, that works out, don't it?
I think what I'm saying is common sense, that when you need someone, hearing their voice can be so valuable and so important. And I know someone could be watching this and say, what? Because that's all they know. Right? All they know is texting. All they know is, why should I waste my time on a phone with you when I can just text you? So they don't get it.
No, they don't.
They don't get it. They will get it when they need someone to speak to. When it hits home with them.
And then see how texting works for that.
That's the problem we have too, is we don't think oftentimes of how the other person feels. Right?
Yeah.
Not thinking of how the other person feels. Until it's bothering me, now I want someone to be attentive for me because I'm going through something. Well, maybe you should be attentive to the other person's needs as well, not one-sided. I think we become so selfish, so distracted.
There's too many people who are just self-indulged. They don't care about anything else but them and their phone. And there are bazillion networks they have to watch, that they could watch. There are a collection of video games they can play. All of these distractions take away from something. Agreed? Yeah.
If you spend 6 hours or 8 hours playing a video game by yourself, you're not doing something else.
And you're not doing yourself any good, and you're being unproductive.
No, and if you choose to text, even in a personal situation, I think we mentioned this before, there are people that break up with someone through a text.
Oh, yeah.
Not even the ability to call and say, hey, listen, I just want to say, I don't think this is working out. No. Let me text it.
On the other hand, there's people that propose through a text.
Yeah, which is ridiculous too, as far as I'm concerned. And then the response, it could be, hey, will you marry me? And the response could be, yes.
Yeah.
Smiley face.
Yeah. Or a thumbs up or something.
God, I see things differently than someone who's not had depression, anything like that. And I think people that have are going to see things more like I do, of course, from sharing the same experiences. right?
Yeah.
And when people are young, they haven't had those experiences.
No, but they think they know better than everybody else.
Of course, and that's as old as dirt. Young people always, they know better. They know better. But since when people haven't experienced things, they don't know, and they don't have the ability to imagine. And then when you say things like this, they think you're crazy.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense to them. I wish parents would teach their kids. I try with mine. I tell them, I want to hear your voice. I want to speak to you. I wish parents would teach their kids that at a young age. So when they go off to college, not texting you, hey, need money. Send me money on my Venmo account. Not even how you doing, or hey, no, I need money, or I need this, or I want that, or I want this, I want that. A parent could be sick, get a text, feeling better, right?
Yeah.
Instead of calling and saying, hey, mom, or dad, or whatever, or a brother, sister, hey, how you feeling today? And listen to their voice, and even saying, oh, hey, you know what, you sound better. Right?
Yeah. Positive reinforcement.
I talked to you yesterday, man, you didn't sound good yesterday. You sound a little better today. Oh yeah, you know what, my sinuses are clearing up, whatever. Yeah, there's a conversation.
Yeah.
There's a conversation. It just seems like it's just so basic. And that's what worries me. You're saying something, it's just basic common sense. To talk to one another. And some people don't get it.
Talking is going away.
And common sense is just
common
seems
sense
to be
is
going
gone.
away with so many people. Not everyone, but with so many people, it's just like no common sense.
Yeah.
And again, as I said, I'll say it again, until it hits home. Until you're that person that doesn't respond to anyone, your friends, anything, you want to do everything through text. Something happens to you now, you want to speak to someone.
Yeah, now you can't.
Now they're doing the same thing to you did to them, text. But you want to hear a voice, you want to speak to them, you want to cry, you want to do whatever. And there's no one there. But were you there? Or were you the texter? This is what happens so often. When it hits me, then my expectations for others
Change.
are different.
Yeah.
Well, we're not trying to be negative here. Hopefully, someone will listen to this and say, you know what, that is true. I've even caught myself doing that. I caught myself texting my kids now instead of talking to my kids. I just become like a routine. And wow, I got to break that pattern. Got to try to break that pattern. Sometimes hearing someone else say it is helpful. Hopefully it is, because this is to be helpful, not to criticize. But it's real. And I hope maybe somebody will think about that. And think about, you needed to speak to someone recently over this or that. And you couldn't get anybody to. Right? No one's... I tried, but I'm not getting a response. And how that feels. All right, friends, well, listen, from John Shannon, who can't be here. Oh, and check out our website. It's depression-youarenotalone.com. We have articles there about everything, as we had mentioned before. It's not just mental health.
There's a link below.
Yeah, and there's a link below. It's not against just mental health, mental illness. If you want to email us, you can also reach us through the website. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we appreciate the support. And if you can give us a like, and if you want, leave a comment. Leave a comment in the video. So from all of us here at depression-youarenotalone.com, we wish you well, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.